I'm actually surprised it took me this long to cover this SCP. This is SCP-2845, The Deer, by TheVolgun. Of course, original video linked in description.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-2845. Threat level, Black. Object class, Keter.
What does threat level black
Special
mean?
containment procedures.
Very dangerous.
Use of outsourced containment resources and consultants has been authorized for the containment of SCP-2845. Consultants are to be considered Level 2 personnel and are at no time permitted to leave Site-100. If at any time an outside consultant must be removed from containment of SCP-2845, Class A amnestics are to be applied before release. A minimum of 30 trained individuals and an unhindered supply of untrained subjects is required for proper containment of SCP-2845. 48 trained personnel are currently assigned to active containment of SCP-2845, split into 8 teams of 6, with a further 24 individuals available as replacements. An allowance of 5 D-Class per week has been authorized for the containment of SCP-2845.
Before we go any further, with all of these like personnel and allowance and stuff, and the way this deer looks, it's a deer with a human face. Is this some sort of like, I guess, godlike being that people have to get sacrificed to in order to make sure that it remains contained? Because if I remember correctly, Keter also means that, yeah, it's pretty dangerous and it's very difficult to contain, so... Or impossible to contain, I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Site-100 has been constructed to the following specifications. Site-100 consists of 9 concentric circular bands, designated Ring A through Ring I, with a gap located between Ring C and Ring D, designated as Gap 1. 6 circular chambers are located at 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, and 300 degrees within each ring and gap. The chambers located at 0 degrees are aligned with geographic north. 2 additional circular chambers are located outside of Ring I, located at 120 and 240 degrees.
Yeah, just from this image alone, this is definitely some sort of sacrificial ritual or whatever. And they're having to use this ritual in order to contain this being, this SCP.
The floor of each circular chamber contains an unobstructed lead hexagram. The central chamber containing SCP-2845 and 216 instances of SCP-2845-1 is to contain an atmosphere of 96.3% hydrogen, 3.25% helium, and 0.45% ammonia,
Why
maintained
so
at
specific?
minus 110 degrees Celsius and a pressure of 2.3 bar. The following procedures are all to be carried out in a repeating cycle of 63 hours, 54 minutes. Each procedure is to last 39 minutes, with 10 hours between each procedure. Each procedure must be carried out by 6 individuals. The location of each procedure is denoted in parentheses. At the beginning of each new cycle, containment procedures will be carried out in the next ring closest to the containment chamber. Ceremonial recitations for all procedures and descriptions of all variant costumes may be found in Document 2845-C-EXP.
Variant costumes?
Procedure 410, Constantin, 60 degrees. Containment specialists are presented with masks, joy, sadness, anger, apathy, fear, and foolishness, and act out Ceremony Constantin A. Ceremony Constantin A is a farcical comedy of errors and exchange of insults between the 6 individuals, culminating in foolishness outwitting the group in a game of riddles and declaring himself king. The conclusion of Ceremony Constantin A is followed by a game of dice. The winner of the game is irrelevant to the procedure.
What? Okay. What in the world? Everything is incredibly specific because it was deemed to be so, that this ritual must be done this way, in this exact way, I should say. What does this SCP gain from this random play of people wearing different masks? And like, the winner of the game is irrelevant to the procedure, like, There's no point to this, but I guess you just gotta go through the motions and like do things properly because that's what this SCP is about. It's funny to think that like, well, I don't know if this is like a single writer or multiple different writers who worked on this SCP, but they had to like come up with all of these different procedures and all of these different numbers and values that had to be exactly this. I wonder if any of these values mean anything, or if it really is just, oh, I believe that it has to be done this way, so it must be done this way.
Procedure 420, Perinaldo, 120 degrees. Performance of a musical piece for flute, oboe, clarinet, French horn, timpani, and bass drum. The piece is accompanied by specific somatic and vocal components carried out by the players throughout the performance, designated Ceremony Perinaldo A. The performance must be live. Recordings of the piece have no effect.
Picky, aren't we?
Procedure 430, Epimetheus, 180 degrees. Gifts are exchanged among containment specialists. Content of gifts is irrelevant to the procedure, but each gift must not exceed $4.28 in worth. Each gift is accompanied by recitation of Ceremony Epimetheus A in its entirety, and the scattering of grain around the containment chamber.
Now that I think about it, how in the world did we discover all of these parameters? Was there some sort of guide to this? Is there a legend saying that you gotta do this? Or did you like ask the SCP exactly what to do? Or was this a matter of trial and error? And if this SCP isn't contained, what is going to happen? I mean, they said threat level black, and it is a Keter class. And if it's like doing all of these kind of rituals, then it might be some sort of god-like being. So maybe if it gets loose, it just kind of spells the end of the world.
Procedure 440, Cassiel, 240 degrees. Ceremony Cassiel A is recited as containment specialists bind their feet with wool and consume 0.5 liters of olive oil. Then they will break apart a rock weighing at least 200 kilograms with hammers. Ceremony Cassiel B is recited throughout.
Why?
Procedure 450, Cairo, 300 degrees. A D-class subject is prepared by painting a symbol, ring surrounding a dot with an arrow pointing upwards at the 90-degree point, on the stomach with a platinum-based solution, and presented with a blue cloak, crown, and scepter. D-class subject is then restrained in a chair, and Ceremony Cairo A is recited. After recitation of the ceremony Cairo A, the D-class subject is to be castrated by use of a hand sickle by a containment specialist. The testes are then to be disposed of in a bowl of salt water as Ceremony Cairo B is recited.
I don't get isekai'd as a Class D subject in the SCP universe. That, Rest in peace, my dude.
Procedure 460, Omphalos, 0 degrees. Ceremony Omphalos A is to be recited before roasting of a child no more than 3 months of age. Ceremony Omphalos.
God damn it! Why are these gods like this? Yes, the innocent. Give them to me. Burn them. What do you get out of that?
Omphalos B is to be recited before consumption. After consumption of the child, Ceremony Omphalos C is to be recited over the gastroliths, which are then swallowed. Vomiting is then induced, and Ceremony Omphalos D is recited, signaling the beginning of a new cycle.
Oh my god.
In the case of a containment breach, Site 100's nuclear device is to be detonated, followed by lockdown of all Foundation facilities and activation of Protocol 2845 XK1, strike down the moon.
What is that? Strike down the moon? The moment this thing gets out, you just explode it with a nuclear device and lock down every single facility? Does strike down the moon mean the moon explodes? But what if the moon explodes and the entire world just completely... Because, like, the moon controls the tidal waves, right? And, oh no. Well, it might not even have anything to do with the moon, and that's just kind of the name of it, but, like, yeah. This thing is incredibly dangerous, then, if you're willing to go that far.
And this is a message from Containment Consultant to Site Director Dell on January 31st, 2012. Towering Kadath, my home. I have been approached several times already in regards to the containment procedures and their complexity. I have been asked if all of the containment procedures are truly necessary, if they could not be cut down or edited for simplicity.
Nope.
and at least one claim that they were patently ridiculous.
I mean,
This is my response.
they're not wrong, but
And I expect that it will be seen by all of the Foundation staff working on this project. I will not repeat myself, and I find it sickening that after all the struggle to contain this creature, pencil-pushing bureaucrats are still seeking to cut corners where they cannot afford to be cut.
yeah,
The answer is no.
for sure.
The ritual will remain as it is, and will not be changed in any way. It cannot be cut down further, nor can it be added to. It has been set in place, and now that it has begun, any deviation at all could very easily be catastrophic. Rituals do not work because of some underlying laws, such as those that science operates on. Rituals work because they are rituals. They work because an arbitrary set of criteria has been met with exacting care. Belief that meeting these arbitrary criteria achieves a certain end assigns power to the ritual. The actions that were once meaningless now have been assigned meaning through their repetition and application. This
Good
is how
definition of a
one
ritual.
seals away a god. And this is a god.
There you go.
I know that the Foundation
Okay.
does not approve of using this term, but it is still the case. The stag is a god, and it is not a petty local god. It is not one of the mild gods of Earth, or some
Mild
weaker
gods
spirit
of
that is
Earth?
bound by the strength of man's belief.
Hello?
We have, for the time being, fooled it into thinking that we have overpowered it. It does not understand that we do so falsely. It is a god. For gods, words have power. Ritual and belief hold greater power over a god than all the laws of science.
That is a great reason to be able to contain such a being. Like, if you're gonna introduce a literal god who could likely end all of reality, because, like, we're describing this as a god, not some petty local god that kind of, like, protects Earth or whatever. Like, so basically, we just stun lock it in place by doing these rituals that it believes is overpowering it in some way. That's great, but, like, I still want to know exactly how we came about to reach this conclusion that these things are what is required for this ritual.
However, it must be kept in mind that the stag could escape, right now if it so chose. With a thought, this entire facility could turn into a puff of hydrogen. If at any point the stag thought to escape, it would, and we would be powerless to stop it. However, it will not think to escape, or even to change its strategy. The idea will not even pass through its mind. It cannot comprehend the concept. It does not think in the way we think. Truth be told, I would not say it thinks at all. This is an old god. It does not dabble in decisions. Decisions are for creatures who may act erratically, variably, or out of line. A god of this strength simply is. It is an absolute. It acts as
Makes
a force.
sense.
In building this ritual, we have shifted its being the slightest bit, and now it is locked into a pattern of behavior. It struggles against us, we struggle against it, and we are locked together in an eternal dance so long as the ritual remains intact. If
Yeah,
one
very
thing
cool
goes
concept.
awry, the entirety is lost, and the deadlock is broken. Unstoppable force without an immovable object.
Good line.
The rituals might seem to be nonsense, but they are what I divined to be the best course of action. There are powerful symbols there, and whether or not you think they are appropriate to the situation is irrelevant. I have listened to the converted, and I have listened to the echoes of the stag in their songs. They are not suffering, but they are no longer human. They are changed, utterly.
The converted?
The ritual remains as it is.
I think they mentioned SCP-2845-1. There was like 200 or so of them within the middle of the facility. I guess those might be like people who are starting to worship the stag, a deer, as their god or something.
Description: SCP-2845 is a quadruped entity, measuring 2.9 meters in height at the shoulder and weighing 815 kilograms. A sinuous neck, generally held in an upright position, extends a further 0.5 meters, terminating in a head with humanoid facial features. SCP-2845 possesses antlers, measuring 4.8 meters across. Antlers are white, with black marbling and coloration, and have not been observed to shed. SCP-2845 is covered in hair with an average length of 10 centimeters, with the exception of the face, which is hairless. SCP-2845's coloration is primarily a pastel green, with a stripe of cream on the underside of the neck and belly. A ring of ice particles is suspended 15 centimeters behind SCP-2845's skull, measuring 1.7 meters in diameter, with a ring thickness of 35 centimeters. This ring is interrupted at regular intervals by 7 spheres consisting of metallic hydrogen and metallic helium, each measuring 15 centimeters in diameter. The ring and spheres rotate clockwise at a speed of 1.6 RPM. The force maintaining the movement of the ring, the physical state of the spheres, and the means by which SCP-2845 is capable of supporting its head under the weight of its antlers are unknown.
That's a god.
SCP-2845 is capable of instantaneous transmutation and reconstruction of matter. No matter is created or destroyed during this process. This property is manifested at will, with an observed range extending to targets within eyesight. Maximum range of this ability is unknown. Transmuted matter will remain stable despite the lack of other factors. For example, metallic hydrogen and helium are common results, which will remain in either solid or liquid form despite the surrounding temperature. Altered atmosphere will not mix with unaltered regions, maintaining chemical consistency. The most common transmutation results are the solid or liquid forms of hydrogen and helium, the conversion of atmosphere into a hydrogen-helium-ammonia mix, and the transmutation of plant life into metalloid-based organisms. SCP-2845 will typically surround itself with a transmuted area with a radius of approximately 5 meters at all times. SCP-2845 has proven itself completely resistant to physical damage.
Yeah, that makes sense. But also, I was wondering why in the previous letter he was speaking about the deer could turn us into a hydrogen atom at any second or whatever. So yeah, its power is that it can transmute things. It doesn't create or destroy, it just completely changes things. That's very interesting. Why can it specifically do that? We probably don't know. Because I can imagine that researching this thing is going to be incredibly difficult.
The most common forms of offensive transmutation used by SCP-2845 are a column measuring 5 to 7 meters in diameter and 60 to 80 meters in height, or a horizontal cone measuring between 100 and 150 meters in length and 10 to 30 meters in width at the furthest end. However, SCP-2845 has been observed to attack single targets at distances of up to 10 kilometers. Early observation of SCP-2845 during recovery indicated that it will generally ignore non-combatants, focusing on retaliation against attackers. However, SCP-2845 was not seen to make any attempts to spare non-combatants within the area of effect of its transmutations, and later recovery accounts indicate preemptive attacks against both military and civilian targets.
Why would the god
SCP-2845-1 designates human beings that have been modified by SCP-2845. Instances of SCP-2845-1 are hexagonal columns measuring 2.4 meters in height, with a rubbery yellow-green skin. SCP-2845-1 instances do not have any outward sense organs, and autopsy has shown that internal organs are likewise absent, save the brain, which now takes up the entirety of the column and contains the reconstituted mass of the other organs and some additional outside materials. It is unknown how SCP-2845-1 instances derive nutrients, or if any nutrition is required.
Why?
Neuroimaging of SCP-2845-1 specimens has revealed that the brain is in a constant state of high activity. Analysis of multiple specimens indicates patterns of call and response, so some form of remote communication between SCP-2845-1 specimens is presumed. Modal variants of SCP-2845-1 have been reported, but have evaded capture and study.
Some sort of call and response, so it's some sort of network. But what for? Why would a all-powerful god need a network of human brains for? Maybe it doesn't need it for anything in particular, and that's kind of just how things turn out when you get transmuted.
Addendum 1. An abridged timeline of SCP-2845 from initial discovery to containment is as follows. November 27th, 2011. Initial sighting of Comet C 2011 W3. December 1st, 2011. Comet C 2011 W3 confirmed by Mount John University Observatory.
Came with a comet.
December 2nd, 2011. Comet C 2011 W3 confirmed and named by the Minor Planet Center. December 16th, 2011. Comet C 2011 W3 reaches perihelion. Solar Dynamics Observatory records images of a fragment breaking off from the main body of the comet, maintaining a speed of 0.0018 c. December 17th, 2011. Fragment trajectory confirmed to end in a collision with Earth, with estimated impact of December 21st. Thoth Station deterrence procedure fails at changing fragment's course. Public announcement made by the United Nations. Evacuations begin. December 21st, 2011. Fragment impacts in the Pacific Ocean, 124 kilometers off the Western American coast. December 24th, 2011. SCP-2845 believed to reach shore on this day.
Took 3 days to reach shore.
December 25th, 2011. First observation of SCP-2845 through civilian video footage. Drone contact made. SCP-2845 confirmed as hostile. Foundation assets within United States military begin direction of recovery and containment procedures, with assistance of Global Occult Coalition representatives. Foundation containment sites in the region enter lockdown.
What a horrible Christmas. And oddly specific timing on the deer's part.
December 26th to December 29th, 2011. Artillery bombardment of SCP-2845 commences, along with initial battery of tests. Contact with outside containment consultants made at this time upon observation of SCP-2845's properties. December 30th, 2011. SCP-2845 is unimpeded for 16 hours. December 31st, 2011. Bombardment recommences. January 1st to January 14th, 2012. SCP-2845 is led across the Sierra Nevada mountains while remaining under heavy bombardment.
Led?
Develops initial containment procedures. January 15th,
How
2012.
did you develop it?
SCP-2845 reaches predetermined containment area. Initial containment procedures enacted. January 18th, 2012. Initial containment procedures end in success.
What?
January 20th, 2012.
That's insane.
Construction of Site 100 begins. February 3rd, 2012. Refinements of containment procedures implemented. February 19th, 2012. SCP-2845 declared contained.
Yeah, but like, that still doesn't answer my question. How did you know exactly what to do for these rituals in order to contain it? But like, also thinking about it, like they described the deer as like a force. It didn't think, it had no thoughts. It's literally just like a force of nature, essentially. So yeah, leading it somewhere, I guess kind of makes sense. You just bombard it from a certain direction and it just keeps coming at you. But man, I guess the scientists that work for the SCP Foundation, I guess outside work as well, are just really, really smart. Unless if we also have like other cases of other SCPs that have a similar property, then maybe it was based off of one of those. Or of course, the scientific method that they just did test for like as much as possible until they somehow found the right ingredients for the ritual. This SCP seems incredibly powerful. Like, it was described as a god that surpasses even the gods of Earth, right? Whenever I hear about these super powerful SCPs and whatnot, it always makes me think of how would they fare against these other OP SCPs? But I feel like this is kind of a step above everything else. Could you actually destroy it in any way? Once again, like, I don't know if this thing probably can't even use words to describe what this thing's existence truly is, and if this thing can even be killed. I still can't believe that we somehow managed to find some sort of ritual to keep it in place, which, as I said, it's a very clever concept because it is an all-powerful god, but it still kind of adheres to the rules of being an all-powerful god, which is kind of funny, but yes, once again, very clever. If you have any suggestions for SCPs I should check out, feel free to leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, if you want to check out our other reactions, then you can click on the playlist that has so conveniently appeared on screen. Until next time, my dudes, see you later.